So what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another video. I just got home from work and you wouldn't be able to tell unless I told you, but we've had almost 5 inches of rain in the last 12 hours. We are in an active flood warning. It was a pretty crazy storm in some areas. There were some tornado sightings. I gotta go out and check the animals and make sure everyone is healthy, and I'm gonna go check our creek to see how flooded that is, because even though our creek starts on our property, it does get a little flooded and over into the pasture. Before we get too far into this video, I just want to thank all of our subscribers for all your support and help. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps build this community. Something that's new to the channel is we were able to start the membership page, and we have some pretty cool levels. So go check that out if you feel a call to help support the making of these videos. We would really appreciate you helping us out. There's some pretty cool levels. I think my favorite level is going to be Gianna making her own videos about the day-to-day stuff that happens when I'm at work. And I think it's going to be really interesting when it comes to the Zoom calls. That's going to be like a live on steroids. We'll be able to see each other face to face, and we'll be able to ask questions and communicate through Zoom. So that's really cool. So guys, if you guys feel calling on that, please go check that out. We would really appreciate it.
Me and Mom were gonna pick some right now, but
what's that? Look at that. That's a cool little update on the garden. Looks like we got some tomatoes turning red. That's really cool.
We tried to make potato sauce. Tomato sauce, but
we left it on the pan.
On the pan too long, and now it's all burnt.
Yeah, things got a little busy. We ended up forgetting about it on the stove. However, we got plenty of tomatoes to make some more sauce. I mean, it was a disappointment. However, what are you gonna do? The Swiss chard that we planted the other day is starting to spring up, which is pretty neat. And we're gonna have to pull this tarp off here soon. That way we can get our winter crops in. It's that time of the year. Get them in the ground. That way they're ready for fall. So we actually need a couple tomatoes for dinner. We're having BLTs. That's probably my favorite dinner to have. So Weston, what do we got out here? Anything ready? I'm sure we got something. What about this one right here?
We got cherry tomatoes.
Well, cherry tomatoes can't be a sandwich.
I know.
Ooh, right here. This one's probably overripe. Has a little split. That'll be good. You want to grab that one?
Mm-hmm. I know which one that's really overripe.
Let's do...
Papa, I know where
Where's one?
I know where a good one is. Hold this.
Where at? That's a good one, yeah. See these black crems. Nice. So we got some tomatoes for our BLTs. So if you had to pick one thing that is your absolute favorite on the farm, what is it?
Picking in the garden.
Picking in the garden and eating it? Like the beans?
Mm-hmm.
That's always really good to hear, because it is always a challenge to get your kids to eat veggies. And if that's their favorite thing, to come out in the garden and eat fresh vegetables, I mean, you can't beat that. So last thing we need to get out of the garden for dinner is some Swiss chard. We are all out of lettuce, but we have plenty of that. And a little update on the Swiss chard that Gianna planted for our fall crops. It's starting to sprout with the rain. It really helped. It wasn't too bad, and I don't see any of erosion, and that's because of the wood chips. The wood chips help keep the soil in place, and it gives almost a little buffer. When that hard rain comes down, it hits these chips, and it just doesn't destroy your soil, and that water just seeps right into the ground. So we got everything we need for dinner. It's really rewarding to be able to come out and harvest your own food. Let me know how your guys' garden's doing with this heat. We've had 90-degree days for a few weeks now. Today's been the coolest day. We did have all that rain from the storm. So just let me know how your garden is doing. The dinner time is probably the hardest time for the kids. If you think about it, they're tired from all the activities during the day. They're ready for bed. They're hungry. But let's fill their stomachs with some healthy vegetables. So we're just wrapping up dinner right now. We had amazing BLTs. The tomatoes and Swiss chard were from our garden. It's always really good to be able to do that. The boys want to show you guys their dilly beans. And Jet made some dilly balls. Basically, they're the beans taken out of the skin. It's always really cool to see the kids enjoying taking food out of the garden and eating it. Like Weston said, that's his favorite thing to do, is go over to the garden and eat healthy food.
We made potato sauce.
You're gonna make a cantaloupe sandwich? Interesting.
Tomato sauce. And we kept it on the oven so long, we ruined it. But now we're gonna make more because we have a bucket in the garden. We were starting and we'll put in some cherry tomatoes in there too.
Yeah, I did mention that earlier in the video, so that's pretty neat as well.
Watch that bacon snapper.
Watch the bacon grabber. Unfortunately, the bacon's not ours. Ida and the Berkshire are off to the butcher, so we will have bacon in the freezer very shortly. So like I said earlier in the video, we had a bunch of rain, and our Premier One fence fell down from the storm, and all the birds got out. So we gotta take care of that. We gotta get them back in. I got a bucket of feed to help out with that. I'll probably have to come back once again at nighttime to catch some because they're still not probably used to the chickshaw, but we gotta get it started somehow, right? The reason why I've been putting it on the ground because I want them to be able to scratch all different areas throughout this section. I don't want to put a feeder out there and they just continuously attack that one area. If you spread out the food, you spread out the manure, and also you spread out the scratching and bugging. The other thing I gotta do is I'm gonna come back later tonight and tighten up these corners. I'm gonna try something different instead of T-posts. Kevin and Rachel from Hidden Heights Farm, they had this on a video they did and I thought it was awesome. So I'm gonna try, basically you tie a string up and then you use like tent stakes and you anchor it down to the ground. It's a lot easier. You don't gotta pound in a post and the job's done. It's easy to move, just like this fence. We have had some struggles with our Premier One fence when it comes to the goats this year for some reason. They don't want to stay in their fencing, so right now they're back in the stationary paddock, which I don't like because we have all this greenery. We have the woods that need to be worked on, but just for some reason they don't want to stay in their fencing. It's a little frustrating. The other day they're in the neighbor's horse paddocks, and I don't want our animals to affect their lives. I mean, try to be good neighbors, good stewards. However, for some reason, the goats, man, they're not cooperating. The sheep this year, the sheep are staying in the fence. They've learned, but the goats, they have not. Our creek is looking just fine. No flooding into the pasture, which is good. It's always a concern, especially when we have a bunch of chickens out there, because we don't want them to be flooded and drowned and, you know, just walking around in that mud. You know, it puts a lot of stress on the birds. So I'm glad that the creek is staying where it needs to be. I think I hear the kids playing hide and go seek. I want to get in on that.